Hey, this is probably going to be the most important video ever on YouTube. First of all, let me tell you something. I teach, I tutor kids when it comes to English, right? And one of the kids that I tutor bought me a pair of Jordans, man. And I'm not really into Jordans anymore. I used to be into them when I was a child, but I'm at a point now where I feel like, you know, $150. I don't know. I just feel like I could use that for more important things. But I do like shoes, but my style is more like this. I like wearing Air Max 95s. You know what I mean? I like 95s, always like these, whatever, So if I can find different flavors of those, I'm going to get them. And I like wearing New Balances, man. You know what I mean? So I keep it simple. I'm not really a Jordan guy. I'm not really a sneaker guy. You know what I mean? But, it's all good with me. I appreciate the gift and everything. But here's what I really want to discuss. All right, we're at a crisis in our community. And we've been at a crisis for quite some time. All right? Now, if I told you, do black people who live in America love each other? What would you say? I would say yes and no. And I think that's been a reality that we've been ignoring for quite some time. The fact of the matter is 100,000 black people who live in America, black Americans, die every 10 years, every decade by the hands of another black person. So you heard me, right? I said 100,000 black individuals in America are murdered by the hands of another black person. So in 100 years, how many black people have been killed at the hands of another black person? 1,000,000. So if we're losing 1,000,000 people every 100 years to ourselves, how are we ever going to get beyond 12% of the population? That's something that I think about. And why is it that if you add up the number of homicides that occur in the black community in Chicago, Philadelphia, take away the white homicides, the non-black homicides, and just keep the black ones, Chicago, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Philadelphia, that's more homicides. And those four cities have in the black communities of those four cities, more homicides are committed than in El Salvador, Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan combined. Combined. So if you add up all the homicides that are going on in inner city black America, 10 cities, name about 10, 6, 7, 8 cities in America, more homicides are occurring in those handful of cities than in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, all of these war zones combined. You can add up all the war zones and their homicide totals and compare it to the totals of the inner cities of America, and the inner cities of America will win every single time. Now, my mother grew up in the projects in the 60s, 1960s, and she always talks about that with me because I'm interested in it, first of all, and secondly, because she loves to reminisce on the good old days before the projects became synonymous with genocide. Yeah, there's always been crime. There have always been drugs, especially in the 60s. That's when the heroin epidemic started that, really got bad going up into the 70s. But the criminal element wasn't dominant to the point where it actually soured the whole community. It was a hidden thing. It was hidden. If you knew about it, you knew about it. But if you didn't, you didn't. It's different now. Now crime is being elevated to the point where it's actually being promoted through music, etc. But back in the 60s, when my mom was in the projects, crime was something that only, a designated group of people were into. And I don't know, man. It's just like this, man. I don't understand. Why is it that every time I go up to a black man and I ask him, who do you fear? They tell me. When I go up to when I'm walking down the street and I see a white man or an Asian man, I don't feel fear. But when I walk down the street and I see a group of young black individuals or a black man, I feel fear. And I said, what do you mean by fear? And they tell me, well, it's a fight or flight thing. I'm always prepared for the worst. If that black man tells me hello and he's nice, I feel relief. And I said, man, that sounds like post-traumatic stress disorder. So you see a black man and your brain is immediately triggered to fight or flight. And it's just, I think it's sad, man. I think it's really sad because there was a point in time when black people were really a collective. We really loved each other. We were a village. We raised each other's children. Even in the projects back in the 1960s, 1970s, black people were a village. And It just saddens me to know that every 10 years, 100,000 black people die by the hands of another black person. And here we are giving so much to the Europeans. I mean, every time I turn around, I see a black person with a European name draped around their chest, just like a cow has been branded to a particular ranch. And, so you got a young black male. He's got on a Versace or Gucci shirt. He's got on some European designer pants, European sneakers like Balenciaga or something like that. Balenciaga or something like that. He has a gun that was manufactured by a white company. The bullets were manufactured by a white company, and he's going to use that to kill a black man. And everything that he has on physically is giving some type of praise to non-black people, white people, Europeans. And it's just, doesn't that imagery disturb you? The imagery of a young black man, everything that he has on his body is European, down to the gun, was manufactured by a European company, a white company. But he has absolutely no love in his heart for his own kind. He wants to kill his own kind. And I just can't get with that. And I don't know, man. I'm just sad. I'm sad, man, because I just realized that black people in America, per capita, kill each other more than any other human family on Earth. There's no other group of humans that commits the level of genocide that we do per capita. And I think that's sad. And I hope that we can wake up and smell a coffee, especially after this recent incident happened with the police officers beating the guy to a pulp and killing him. And you just gotta, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I do understand. So there are a lot of factors that go into it. First of all, we have been conditioned to hate each other. And second of all, there is a benefit of that. Like I said, 1 million of us are being killed every 100 years. So every generation, we're losing a generation. So people keep saying, oh, white people are scared. They're not having as many babies as they used to. They're afraid that black people are going to outnumber them. How can we outnumber them if we're losing the whole generation every 100 years? So in 100 years, how many babies do you think we have? It's only 40 million black people in America. So if in every 100 years we lose 1 million, we're stopping before we start. We can never get ahead. The babies that are born are just replacing the people who have died. So yeah, man, if you're black, love your brother, love your sister. Stop the hatred, man. Stop it. Because I think it's a shame that a young black brother or a black man in general or black woman in general can walk down the street and feel absolutely safe if a white man is standing on that corner. But if a black person is standing on that corner, fight or flight kicks in and PTSD kicks in. So, yeah, man, it's sad. Peace.